Welcome everyone to the ConX platform training webinar. My name is Ava, and I'll be walking you through everything you need to know to operate and maximize the ConX labor sharing platform. Whether you're brand new to ConX or you've been using it and want to go deeper, this session is designed for you. We'll cover the full platform from setup to daily operations. This webinar will take approximately 25 minutes with Q&A breaks throughout. Feel free to use the chat to submit questions at any time. Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering 8 major areas, starting with a quick recap of what ConX is and why it exists. Then we'll walk through the platform hands-on: navigation, company setup, managing your employees, the worker portal, the labor exchange, including borrow requests and loan notifications, user management, and daily workflows. We'll wrap up with best practices for getting the most value out of the platform. There will be polls and Q&A breaks along the way, so stay engaged. For those who are newer, here's the 30-second version of ConX. ConX is the first fully integrated labor-sharing ecosystem built specifically for construction contractors. It has 3 core pillars. First, the labor exchange. This lets you loan idle crew to trusted partners or borrow skilled workers when you're short-staffed. Everything is compliant and tracked. Second, the digital whiteboard. This replaces your office dry erase board with a cloud-based command center you can access from anywhere. Third, the worker portal. This pushes assignments directly to your crew's mobile devices so they know where to go, who to report to, and what safety protocols apply. The key differentiator: ConX is built by contractors, for contractors. It's not a staffing agency. You maintain full control of your workforce. This slide shows why ConX was built. The construction industry loses massive amounts of money to coordination failures. The average contractor loses over $12,000 per month per idle crew. That's skilled labor sitting around or being sent home, a direct hit to your margins. Hiring takes an average of 45 days to find, vet, and onboard a new worker. By then, the project schedule is already blown. And the biggest hidden risk? Borrowing labor through handshake deals exposes you to massive insurance gaps and liability. ConX was built to solve all 3 of these problems. The industry has accepted boom and bust as normal, but it's really just a failure of coordination. Great news! Your ConX account is completely free. No credit card, no bank card, no setup fees. Your free account includes full workforce portal access, the ability to add unlimited workers at no cost, the free worker portal for your team, and the free digital whiteboard for personnel and project management. You only pay when you borrow a worker through the labor exchange. Everything else is free. If you haven't created your account yet, you can do so right now at web-conx.com. It takes about 2 minutes. Any questions so far? All right, now let's dive into the platform itself. I'm going to walk you through the main navigation areas so you know exactly where everything lives. When you log in, this is what you'll see. This is your ConX dashboard. Think of it as your command center. Here you'll see your digital whiteboard front and center, and off to the left is your resource management bar where you can access your employee roster, the labor exchange portal, the new employee search when looking to hire workers, and admin tools. Up on the top right is your notification hub. The digital whiteboard is your primary workspace, drag and drop scheduling with built-in conflict detection. The employee roster shows all your workers along with their profiles, certifications, availability status, and assignment history. The labor exchange is where you manage borrow requests and loan opportunities across your network. And the notifications hub keeps you informed in real time about loan requests, schedule changes, and compliance updates. I'd recommend spending a few minutes just exploring these areas to get comfortable with the layout. Next up, getting your company properly set up on ConX. If you've already done this, it's a good refresher to make sure you haven't missed anything. The registration process is straightforward. Step 1. If you haven't already, go to web-conx.com and click here to register. Step 2. Create your account with an email and password, then enter your name and company information: company name, phone number, state, primary trade, and business type. If you're a member of a trade organization, you can enter that here too. Step 3. You'll receive an email verification. Head to your inbox and verify your email. If you don't see it, check your spam folder. Step 4. Once verified, you'll land on your login screen. Use the email and password you just created to log in. Step 5. After logging in, you'll be prompted to finish loading company details, phone number, address, and your subscribed zip code. That zip code determines the radius for borrow request notifications. You can also enter your trade association and default overhead rate here. Step 6. Select Complete Account Setup and start adding workers. The whole process takes about 2 minutes. Remember, the account is free and you can start adding workers immediately. Pro tip, make sure the email you use is one you check regularly. That's where your labor exchange notifications will go. After selecting Complete Account Setup, you'll land on your company profile screen, which looks like this. You can access it anytime by clicking your name in the top right corner and selecting Profile. Once your account is created, take a few minutes to complete your company settings and set up your users. First, select Add Payment Method, which is required for borrowing labor. You can use either a credit card or ACH. Second, select Connect Stripe Account. This takes you outside our platform to set up your Stripe account. Just follow the prompts. ConX does not store your payment information on our platform to protect your data. These 2 steps are required before you can participate in the labor exchange. Without them, you can't borrow or loan workers. Third, set up your notification preferences. Choose which alerts you want to receive: borrow requests, available workers, new job seekers, and financials. You can also designate what email address will receive the various notifications. Pro tip. You'll also see an option to download a staff agreement here. This is only needed if you're borrowing a worker from a staffing agency. Next, under User, you can add your admin and staff who will be using ConX. Select Add New User, which opens a pop-up where you'll enter their information and assign their role. There are 5 role options to choose from, each with different levels of access. You can also email them an invitation to create their own account or send them an invite link. You'll see that option in the top right. Pro tip: if a user might be loaned out at any point, make sure to include Worker as one of their roles. Any questions on account setup before we move on? Now let's talk about loading and managing your workforce in ConX. This is where the platform really starts working for you. Adding workers to ConX is free and unlimited. Here's the step-by-step. Navigate to the Employees section, click Add Employee, enter their details, assign their trade, experience level, and specialties, upload certifications and safety docs, and set their hourly rate and the distance they're willing to travel. A few pro tips that will save you time later. Keep certifications up to date. This is essential for compliance when you loan workers to partners. And here's a big one. Setting up worker profiles completely from the start makes it much quicker and easier to fully utilize the whiteboard and loan out workers when the time comes. Here's what your employee portal looks like. In the top right, you'll see the Add Employee, Invite, and Export tabs. Instead of loading each employee yourself, you can email them an invite to fill in their own information. We're also working on a better mass upload feature for those of you with larger workforces. Across the top are the tabs: All Employees, Reserved, workers you're currently utilizing; For Loan, workers you've made available for others to borrow; Borrowed Workers, workers you're borrowing from others; and Loaned, your workers currently loaned out. Once you load your employees, they'll receive an email notification to set up their own worker portal account. The worker portal is one of the most impactful features of ConX. It eliminates the endless phone calls and text messages about assignments. Mobile access means your workers see exactly where to go, who to report to, and what safety protocols apply, right on their phone. Assignment View pushes daily and weekly schedules in real time. No more calling workers the night before to tell them where to show up. Time Submission allows your workers to enter their hours worked each day. This is especially helpful when they're loaned out, and it supports time tracking features for the whiteboard coming later this year. Safety protocols are displayed per assignment, so workers always know the job-specific requirements before they arrive. If your workers aren't using the portal yet, getting them on it is one of the highest value things you can do. It saves hours of coordination time every week. Next, let's cover experience levels, burden rates, and markup. Under Administrator, Experience Levels, you'll see this screen. Here you can create new experience levels if needed and adjust your burden rates for each level. To change a burden rate, simply click Edit, which opens a window to make your changes. You have the option to enter this as either a percentage of their wage or a hard dollar amount, and you can set a different rate for each experience level. This burden rate gets added to your employee's hourly rate when loaning them out, and it'll also feed into the Whiteboard's project labor cost tracking features coming later this year. Next, you'll want to enter your markup for when you loan out employees. Select Billable Rate/Markup under Administrator, which brings you to this screen. Here you'll see each employee's ConX assigned ID, their name, experience level, original rate, their hourly pay, burden rate, which we just set up, loaded rate, hourly plus burden, markup for when they're loaned out, and finally their billable rate. That's the original rate plus burden plus markup. This is what gets billed through ConX when you loan them out. By selecting Edit, you can adjust an employee's markup and hourly rate as needed. You also have the option of entering the markup as a percentage or a hard dollar amount. Any questions about managing employees before we move on? This is the heart of ConX, the labor exchange. This is where borrow requests and loan notifications work together to solve the construction industry's biggest problem: getting the right workers to the right job at the right time. Let me walk through exactly how a borrow request works, step by step. Step 1. You identify a gap. You're short-staffed and need skilled workers fast. Step 2. Under Transactions on the left side of your screen, click the Borrow drop-down. Step 3. We recommend starting with Find/View Available to Borrow. This lets you do a quick search to see if a contractor in your area has already made a worker available that fits your need. You would have received a notification when any worker in your area was posted, but this gives you an easy way to search directly. Step 4. If there are no matches, select Create Borrow Request and post a request specifying the trade, experience level, specialties, duration, job site location, and number of workers you need. Step 5. ConX automatically notifies contractors in your area who have workers matching your punching trade. Step 6. All your borrow requests will now appear here under Manage Borrow Requests. Under Actions, you can view details, view applicants, make changes, mark it complete, or delete your request. When a local contractor applies a worker to your request, you'll receive a notification. Step 7. Your Pending Applications column will show how many applications you've received for each request. Select Actions, then View Applications to see the workers offered to you, along with their details and rates. Step 8. Once you find the worker that's the best fit, select Actions, then Add to Cart. We added the Borrow Cart as an extra step in case you have one person who searches and selects workers, but needs someone else to give final approval. Step 9. Go to your Borrow Cart tab, where you'll find all the workers you want to borrow. Verify everything looks accurate, then select Submit Request. This sends a notification to the loaning contractor and moves your borrow request to Manage Active Borrow Requests. Step 10. Once the loaning contractor accepts, you'll receive a notification and the request moves to Approved under Manage Active Borrow Requests. The borrowed worker will also show up on your whiteboard, ready to be assigned to a project. The key takeaway: this isn't a handshake deal. Every transaction is documented, compliant, and tracked in the platform. Any questions about the borrowing process? Now let's look at the other side, loan notifications. This is how you monetize idle labor instead of losing money. When your schedule has gaps, instead of laying off good workers, you can loan them to trusted partners in your network. Here's how it works. You receive a notification when a nearby contractor needs workers in your trade. You review the details, select which workers to offer, confirm the loan, and ConX handles the master labor agreement. The benefits are significant. You generate new revenue from labor that would otherwise cost you money sitting idle. Your workers stay employed and loyal. They're not out job hunting. Benefits continuity is maintained, and when your next project ramps up, you bring them right back. This is the core philosophy of ConX. Loan out, don't lay off. Let's cover what the loan process looks like. Step 1. You receive a notification that a company near you is requesting employees with a specific trade and experience level. When you click on that notification, it brings you to this screen. You can also get here by selecting Find/View Requests to Borrow under the Loan tab. Step 2. Select View Details next to the request you're interested in. This opens a details screen with more information about the request, including duration, trade, experience level, and specialties needed. Step 3. If you'd like to apply one of your workers to this request, select Apply. That brings you to this screen, where you can select which of your employees you want to offer for the borrow request. Notice that this screen shows you each employee's hourly rate and billable rate. The billable rate includes their hourly pay plus the burden and markup you entered earlier. Step 4, select the employee, then confirm you want to apply them to the request. This sends the borrowing contractor a notification of your offer. At this point, your company and employee information are both concealed for privacy. You can view and manage all your loan requests by selecting Manage Active Loan Requests under the Loan drop-down. Now, if you have extra workers you need to loan out but haven't received a matching borrow request notification, ConX gives you two options. Option 1 is to select Find/View Requests to Borrow under the Loan drop-down. That takes you here, where you can search for any open borrow requests in your area. If there are no open requests that match your available worker, you can select Create Available Worker Notification under the Loan drop-down. That takes you to this screen, the Reserved tab under Employees. Here you'd click Actions, then For Loan, which opens a window where you enter the dates the worker is available. Enter the dates, select Save, and that employee will appear under the For Loan tab for those dates. This immediately sends a notification to contractors in your area letting them know a new worker is available. If someone requests your worker, the rest of the loan process follows the same steps we just covered. One important note here. ConX has many strategic partners, including trade organizations and staffing companies. We believe recognizing your trade organization membership matters, so if you're a member, you'll see a badge displayed during the loaning and borrowing process for both requests and worker offerings. This can give you added confidence when working with a fellow member. ConX also adds a service fee discount to trade organizations that we are partnered with. If your trade organization is not currently partnered with ConX, ask them to get connected to increase your member benefits. For staffing agencies, ConX clearly identifies staffing agencies with a badge, so you always know who is supplying the worker. Staffing agencies must also verify worker experience and specialties before offering them through the platform, providing greater confidence in worker quality. Most staffing agencies will require you to acknowledge their terms and conditions when borrowing through ConX. We make this simple by allowing them to upload their terms directly to the platform, where you can review and electronically acknowledge them, keeping the process quick and seamless. Any questions on the loaning process before we move on? Now let's go over ConX's fully integrated billing and financial system. In this section, we'll cover both the loaning and borrowing sides simultaneously so you can see the full workflow. All right. Loaning contractors. The work is complete, so let's get you paid. Step 1. Enter the loaned employee's hours. The employee can also enter their hours through the worker portal, but the admin needs to do the final approval and submission. On this screen under Manage Loan Billings, you'll see the worker's name, a status of Work Done, and the hours rendered. If the employee had already entered their hours through the portal, those would appear here. Step 2. Select Update, which brings you to a calendar view. Here you enter the worker's hours for each day, confirm them, and then select Update Billing. This changes the status to For Approval and sends a notification to the borrowing contractor that hours have been submitted for review. The borrowing contractor can view this by selecting Manage Borrow Billings under the Borrow drop-down. As you can see here, there's an invoice pending approval. The one that shows work done means the loaning contractor hasn't submitted hours yet for that transaction. Step 3. The borrowing contractor selects Summary, which opens a pop-up calendar similar to the loaning contractor's view, showing hours rendered for each day. Step 4. The borrowing contractor can either request a modification or approve the billing. Once approved, ConX automatically creates an invoice for both parties, one for accounts payable on the borrowing side and one for accounts receivable on the loaning side. Once approved, the transaction moves from Manage Loan/Borrow Billings to View Borrow Financials and View Loan Financials. This is an intentional two-step process for the project manager or supervisor to approve the hours and the individual responsible for accounts payable to pay the invoice. Step 5. Borrowing contractors. Pay your invoice as soon as possible. Under View Borrow Financials, you'll see the status of all your invoices. You can see here that some show as paid, partially paid, and unpaid. Step 6. For partially paid or unpaid invoices, select Actions, then View. That brings up this screen where you can make a payment. Once paid, you can print or export the invoice as needed. If you scroll down, you'll also see the full payment history. Once the invoice is paid, the loaning contractor gets notified and the status under View Loan Financials updates to paid or partial payment. Pro tip: for loaning contractors, keep in mind that payments go into your Stripe account that you set up earlier. You'll need to log into your Stripe account to transfer funds to your bank account, unless you configured automatic transfers when you first created it. Any questions about billing and financials before we move on? Now let's talk about the ConX rating system. This is how we keep everyone accountable. ConX offers a rating system on both ends of every transaction, holding all parties accountable. On the borrowing side, once a worker's contract has expired, the borrowing contractor receives a notification to rate the worker they borrowed. It's a simple 1 to 5-star rating. You can also access this by going to View Borrow Financials, selecting Actions, then Rate. A pop-up window lets you rate the worker you borrowed. This holds the loaning company and the worker accountable, so you can count on reliable help. On the loaning side, once the transaction moves to financials, you'll have the opportunity to rate the borrowing contractor. Select Actions next to the invoice under View Loan Financials, then select Rate. You'll rate the borrowing contractor 1 to 5 stars. Things that can impact your rating include: did they treat your employee well? Did they provide a safe working environment? Did they try to solicit your employee? Did they pay in a timely manner? In both rating systems, ConX only allows star ratings, no written comments. This keeps feedback constructive and avoids any unproductive commentary. Any worker or company with a rating will have that rating displayed during future loaning and borrowing transactions. This is the 30,000-foot working overview and flow. This is your daily playbook for using ConX effectively. Let me walk through a typical day. Morning. Start by reviewing the whiteboard. Check crew assignments, confirm worker availability, and identify any gaps for the day. Mid-morning. Manage your labor requests. If you're short, post a borrow request. If you have available workers, create an available worker loan notification or apply to other borrow requests. Midday. Monitor and adjust. Track worker check-ins, handle any schedule changes, and resolve conflicts as they come up. Afternoon. Plan ahead. Update tomorrow's schedule, confirm next day assignments, and forecast manpower needs for the coming week. End of day. Review and report. Check labor utilization for the day and note any completed transactions. The contractors who get the most value from ConX are the ones who make this a daily habit. Consistency is key. Let me leave you with 6 best practices for maximizing your ConX value. Complete worker profiles. Fully documented workers get matched faster and build trust in the network. Don't shortcut this. Check the whiteboard daily. Consistent use is what makes the platform powerful. It only works if it reflects reality. Loan before you lay off. This is the ConX philosophy. Turn idle labor into revenue instead of losing money. Build your network. The larger your trusted partner network, the faster you can fill gaps and the more loan opportunities you'll have. Track utilization. Monitor your labor utilization metrics to identify patterns and optimize how you deploy crews. Stay compliant. Keep insurance docs and certifications current. Compliance is not optional for exchange participation. If you do these 6 things consistently, you'll see a significant impact on your margins and your ability to take on more work. That wraps up our ConX platform training webinar. Thank you all for attending. ConX is a free platform that gives you workforce management tools and access to a labor-sharing network. You only pay when you borrow a worker. Your next steps. 1. Create your free account at web-connex.com if you haven't already. 2. Complete your company profile. 3. Add your workers and fill out their profiles. 4. Start using the whiteboard daily. 5. Explore the labor exchange. If you have questions after this session, reach out to info@connex-usa.com. We'll send out a copy of this webinar to everyone who attended so you can reference it anytime. Let's take some questions now. Remember, no question is too basic. We want everyone to leave this session feeling confident about using ConX.